MVP fave, and has shown no drop-off without Stephon. In fact, some are saying addition by subtraction, but not Josh. Take a listen.
I know there's a lot of people talking out there. Again, I'm not trying to tear down anybody. I've loved everybody that I've played with, and you don't have to tear other people down to build each other up. You know what I mean. Whether it's former players, yeah. And again, I love 14. I still do. But everyone wants to keep making this thing a thing, and we're so focused on what's going on inside of our building, and that's the only thing that we're caring about right now.
Solid answer. This is the idea that everybody eats percentage of team targets. Everybody's eating a little bit, but Diggs had over 25% of the targets in each year he was with Josh. So are you surprised Josh Allen's playing like an MVP without Stephon?
I'm not at all. I mean, because we knew he's already had the whole load of the offense put on him even when Stephon was there. So you take away Diggs, and now even more of it was on him. He doesn't have a receiver that's considered elite, that's ever made a Pro Bowl, solid. James Cook is a good running back. He's not viewed as one of the best in the league. So it is on his shoulders. So I'm not surprised at all that he's, having this type of season. The reason I didn't pick him for preseason MVP is I picked Mahomes because I thought Mahomes would have a terrific season. And I didn't think the Bills' record would be good enough. I thought 10, 11 wins, second in the division, make the playoffs, which usually wouldn't get you the MVP. So, but no, I'm not surprised.
I'm not surprised. What I am surprised about is with the subtraction of Diggs, you knew it would be more on Josh Allen. And so, honestly, what I was anticipating was he's going to force things a little bit more. He's going to have a little bit more turnovers. And that just hasn't.
It's been the exact opposite.
It's been the exact opposite. And that's what's been so impressive. I don't think any of us thought that this was going to be a team through 3 weeks that was going to be scoring 37 points a game. Right. Like, we thought that Josh Allen would be good, but overall as a team, they just fit. It just fits. It works. And it's because of Josh Allen. And they kind of did a little bit of this last year.
Right.
At the end of the year.
Yes.
Joe Brady decided, we're not going to focus on Diggs as much, and they started to sustain drives and things started to change for him.
So I think that we have to be a little careful before we just say,
oh my God,
they don't miss him. It doesn't seem like it right now. I do think, and Josh is playing brilliant, absolutely brilliant. He, without a doubt, should be the MVP through 3 weeks. I don't think it would even be close. I do think, and this is from some experience of a team the last couple years, that when you have a great quarterback and a good offensive system, you don't need the star guys on the outside when you're playing the bad defenses.
I agree.
And so they have played Arizona, who might be a fine team, but the defense I think is going to be terrible. Right. Miami, the defense has been really bad. And Jacksonville, whose defense was borderline going into the year, top 3 corners hurt, top tackler hurt. They look like a mess. So I just wonder if when they get into matchups, and I don't know if the Ravens are a great defense, by the way, but against great defenses, if all of a sudden Khalil Shakir gets erased, and all of a sudden Dalton Kincaid, you know what I mean, isn't as easy, if that's when you'll start to miss a guy who can just win on his own.
Okay, so let's talk about this because I understand the argument, and I'm not even going to say that I think it's just completely wrong. I want to get back to the numbers of the percentages. Okay, here we go. Okay. This is the benefit of how this system is working right now. Since it's so much of everybody eats, right? One, it's harder for defenses now to game plan against this offense. And two, since anyone, it's death by 1,000 cuts right now because anyone can come at you. And this is what Dan Orlovsky talked about, and I've actually now mentioned this multiple times today, is that defenses need to really know how to communicate. The way how this offensive system has been working for the Buffalo Bills is you need high-level defensive play and high levels of communication. Otherwise, Josh Allen will pick you apart, and one of these names up here is going to torch you. right? It just is what it is. And that is part of the problem when everything is so much with just Diggs. When your offense is so heavy on one wide receiver or one specific weapon, yeah, it becomes kind of problematic. And when we talk about other future teams maybe not having that person, and now when you play better defenses, you really need that person, that's because that offense is still largely designed around having this one guy and really relying on that one guy to maybe take care of any of the other deficits that may exist. And you saw this with a little bit with the Bills in the past, with the Eagles, with A.J. Brown, with trying to think if there's any other good examples right now. I would say the Bengals and Jamar Chase. Like it's just a different style offense with a different game plan and a different approach that I don't think the Bills are suffering. Yes, are you going to be better against worser teams? Like, of course, you always will, right? Like the better teams will always look better against worse teams. But this idea that we need to like exercise caution, where it's just like, man, they're really gonna miss that big time. Yeah, you obviously want the best scenario is having a big time wide receiver, right? A big time Pro Bowler, whatever it may be, but they're totally okay with this level of percentages of targets, right? That they don't need any more than that. There's no pressure from the coordinator, from the quarterback, from the head coach, from the the guy cutting checks. Quite frankly, like there is none of that. When you have an actual balanced offense, it makes it easier for every single person involved. Every single person. Every single person. The players that are actually part of that offense, whether it's, Kincaid, Cook, Samuel, Coleman, anyone, like they feel more connected to the offense. They feel more focused going into any game. Obviously, Josh Allen is now more free to just do what the game is giving him, right? Do what the defenses are giving him and what his own offense is giving him. Joe Brady is in a position to be like, I just get to scheme guys open and come up with a game plan that's just best for the team, rather than, because these guys do feel the pressure, especially if they're getting a lot of money. It's like, we gotta highlight this person. We gotta get them going. And you saw this perfectly for the Giants. I think it was their GM who was saying this. We saw this in Hard Knocks, where he's like, we're not paying Daniel Jones to hand the ball off to Saquon Barkley or whatever, right? And it was just like, that's the wrong way to go about it. That's looking at it from a numbers perspective and not like what's better for the team, right? That's like saying, hey, we pay this guy a lot of money. We need him to do more than hand the ball off. And I get the sentiment, but there is a tremendous amount of pressure sometimes for these coaches, for these organizations, where if they pay, right, you pay Tyreek Hill $500 million a year, it's like, you better get him the ball, and there's that pressure, and the quarterback feels it, and the coordinator feels it, the coach feels it, the GM feels it, the owner feels it, everyone feels it. It's like, we paid for this guy, he's gotta show it, and it's not a good way to go about things. So when you remove that, which is why it is addition by subtraction, you get to have this balanced offense, and it's obviously working remarkably well. Again, I don't have like a strong issue with Nick saying like to put some hesitation on it, because I do the same thing for many other takes. But I just think what Nick is trying to highlight, I just think is just incorrect in this specific circumstance. If they didn't have this clear, which is to me is arguably the clearest out of anyone outside of maybe the Minnesota Vikings, they have this clear offensive identity, an offensive approach, and a new framework for Josh Allen. If they didn't have that, and it was just what they were doing last year, but they were just winning but not having Diggs, then I would 100% agree with what Nick is saying. But this is a new offense, a new approach, a new identity. They're utilizing Josh Allen very differently than they ever have, and they're utilizing all their weapons way differently than they ever have. So yes, of course, you're going to most likely see a step back when you play the better defenses, but not in a way where you're going to be like, man, they really could have used insert guy here. I don't see it coming. I see so much freedom and flexibility in this offense. And quite frankly, in those moments when you're like, man, they could have really used the Diggs, that's now when you get to just ask Josh Allen to be the Superman and be like, Josh, get out there, buddy. And so now when you don't have to use him in all these other moments, you get to save him for those really important moments, and then you just get to have Josh be Josh. So I think it's an exciting place for the Buffalo Bills, honestly. But those are just my thoughts. I would absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the Buffalo Bills and how their offense is constructed right now and how they look better and Josh Allen looks better without Diggs. Why do you think that is? Outside of just like personality and stuff like that, anything that you kind of observed while watching these games from a fan perspective. Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me. Either way, let's get in some discussions, let's get in some fights, but ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I'd absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much, and see you next time.